Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BS with AJ. As you can see, I'm suited up. Bee suited up, that is. We're going to be showing you how to take off honey from our honeybees out here. As you can see our yard here. This is my father. He just kind of ran off. He don't want to be in the shop, but that's okay. There he is again. Yeah! Welcome back. Anyway, so we're going to show you how the honey making process works. Well, how the honey extracting process works. Can't show you how they make honey. You know, that's up to the bees. But we're going to show you exactly how the honey extracting process works from our point of view. It's going to be great. Stick around, guys. Alright guys, this is one of our hives that we're going to start with. As you see, there's 3 boxes on here. We have 2 deeps. We're using 10 frame boxes, which means there's 10 different frames all on a line right here. And we're going to use 2 deeps that we normally keep for our bees, so that way they can put their brood in here and keep their own honey through the winter. Now anything above that, we normally use mediums for our honey supers. Honey supers are what you put on smaller frames and they fill them out, and that's what you take off for your honey like we're doing now. So we're going to come through and we're going to smoke them. And that we got to wait about 20 or 30 seconds, and what that does is it makes them think that the hive is on fire. So they'll go through all their hives in here and they'll start gorging themselves on honey. And once they start doing that, they'll get too full to be able to do a whole lot. It'll calm them down quite a bit. All right, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pry this lid off the top. Now we're gonna look through here and see if they've got some honey made for us here. Looks like they've got a few here in the center that's got honey on it. A lot of them on the outside are empty. And the way that you can tell the difference here, just like so, let me get this pried off. This one here they haven't touched. This is just the wax that we put in, just the regular wax foundation. As you can see on this one right up here, move that down there some. They've started making honey. It's not like completely full, but it's quite a bit right here. As you can see, that's all the capped honey right here. When it's capped, that means it's ready. Here's a real good one. I can get close up a little bit on that. And as you can see, it's got a real good pattern. It's all closed off, and it's pretty thick. I don't know, turn that to the side here. You see how much is sticking up right here? All that from here down to about the center of this is all honey. And on the opposite side as well. That's a real good one right there. That's what we like to see. So what we normally do is we're going to take this brush here. There's not a whole lot on it, so we ain't got to worry too much. We just kind of roll them like, you flip them like this. If you run straight down it, you'll end up rolling the bees and they'll get mad and want to sting you. So just kind of flip them off like this. You're not going to get all of the bees, just so you know. It's not going to happen. But we do like to set it to the side and put a cover over it so there's more bees don't just get in there. That one. He's like, what is going on? Alright, this is the setup that we have for a honey extractor. We got it set up on 2 milk crates so it can be about the height that we need it to be for spinning it. It's a hand crank one, so we have to do all the work, of course. And we have a honey gate on the front of it, and down below it we have a 5-gallon bucket, a food grade 5-gallon bucket that has a honey gate on it as well. So we're going to go ahead and start decapping all the frames, and we're going to stick them in here and we'll show you how we do this. Alright, our first step, we're going to have to use our electric decapping knife to go ahead and cut the caps off the honey here. It's going to expose all the honey so that when we put it in the extractor, it all spins out using centrifugal force. Alright, so this is the inside of our honey extractor. And this is a 2-frame honey extractor, so we got one we put here, and then on the exact opposite side we have one here. You want to face them opposite directions, so this one's leaning this way, and the other one's leaning this way. So that way it kind of has a little more balance to it. And what's going to happen is we're going to take this handle and start spinning it, and the centrifugal force of it is going to force all the honey on the walls. And then it'll slowly run down to the bottom. Now it only does one side at a time. So once we're done with this, we're going to have to take them and flip them over to do the other side. And we do this with all of our frames. And at the end, we'll go ahead and open up the honey gate and start straining it out. Alright, now the fun begins. We get to take this nice handle and just spin like crazy until all the honey's over here. Let the fun begin.
Remember the ice cream machine, it's kind of like that.
That's some grade A bee barf right there, bud. Alright, we're going to use a wire strainer here. We're not going to filter it, we're just going to strain it. And the reason we're doing this is to keep out all the big chunks of wax and stuff that may have fell down here. If you actually filter it, then it takes out a lot of the pollen and it's not as good for you. But if you use, I mean, these are pretty big holes in here. So if you use this to just get out the big chunks of the wax is just fine. Here we go. We're going to let the floodgates out. Look at that golden beauty. Now here and there you'll see some chunks coming out, and that's what I'm talking about. We're trying to keep out. That's just big chunks of wax. This is what it's all about, folks. This beautiful, delicious, golden awesomeness we call honey and or bee barf, whichever you prefer.
Tastes the same, either one.
Alright, now here in the bottom of the strainer, this is what we're trying to keep out. All these little white chunks and everything, that's all the wax that just happened to get down in here. So we're trying to keep all that out, so all that you get is just pure honey. Alright, now this is what it looks like after we spin out all the honey. As you can see, the honey extractor cleans it out really, really well. All you have is just empty cells in here now. And that's what we're looking for. Alright, now that we've let our honey set for about 3 days so that all the air bubbles would move up to the top of it, it's time to start jarring it up. Alright, we're going to use a pint jar, which is 22 ounces of honey. Hope you enjoyed this week's project. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any good ideas for other projects that you'd like to see, leave me a comment and I'll get to it. Consider supporting us on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects.